Day one of the G7 summit in beautiful Kananaskis, Alberta is in the books, and as predicted, it's already a flaming pile of diplomatic nothing burgers from Mark Carney. See, Mark Carney, the man who campaigned as Canada's economic savior, has proven yet again that he cannot lead, cannot negotiate, and definitely can't command the room, whether the cameras are on or off. And Donald Trump, the big scary guy, yeah, he already left. He showed up, made some noise about Israel and Gaza, met with Carney for over an hour, and hightailed her out of here on his helicopter. That's the reality of day one of the G7 summit. Great stuff. And the only thing we, the taxpayers, are left with? Oh, you guessed it. It's the bill. So let's break this down. And there's no stinger in today's episode because I'm on a remote location, so let's get started. Welcome back to Bakes on Things. My name is Chris Baker, and if you've never been here before, if you're new here, welcome to one of the shows of the many independent creators willing to say out loud what the mainstream media won't. And if you've been here before, well, then you already knew this episode was probably coming. Because today, we're going to tear apart the spectacle that was day one of the beautiful G7 summit. And it's exactly what we predicted it was going to be. So let's start with the Trump meeting. Another empty promise that's been made by both leaders. And this so-called meeting between Mark Carney and Donald Trump, well, they met for over an hour. Yes, that's right. You heard that correctly. An hour. And you'd think, after all that talk about being the man who could stand up to Donald Trump during the election campaign, that Mark Carney would have emerged with something, anything, other than a generic photo op and a press release that read eerily like the first one when he met with Donald Trump just after the election. What was the result then? We believe we can get a deal done. Excuse me, we've heard this before. That's literally the exact same line they gave us the last time they met. Oh, they also said progress is being made and that there's been constructive dialogue. Said it again today. And we're optimistic. Oh, said that again today too. So you've been in office for over a month now, Mark. There's been zero progress on the Golden Dome, no trade reset, no defense pact clarity, no cross-border energy strategy. You sat across from the most powerful man in the room, and instead of a deal, all you delivered was hopeful vibes. Again, because all you can do is talk. But there's no action. That's not leadership. That's PR spin. Guys, it's so bad. And Trump, well, he had that meeting, realized nothing was going to happen, and hightailed it out of there. Gone. Air Force One, wheels up before the summit even hit stride. He said he needed to deal with the Israel and Gaza thing and walked out. Now, say what you want about Donald Trump. Many do, we know that. But at least he acts like the leader of a superpower. You think Carney would leave the G7 to personally intervene on a global crisis? Of course he would not. He'd give a 4-minute speech on unity, tell us it's a turning point in modern history, and then hide behind a carefully managed media scrum put on by CBC, CTV, Global News, or whomever. Trump leaving isn't just about Middle East diplomacy. It's about how little respect he has for this group of leaders meeting in Alberta right now, especially our leader. And look, let's talk about Canada's media embarrassment too of the day, because really it's kind of a combination of Mark Carney just giving us word salad as we knew was probably coming from this, and our horrific mainstream media. CTV actually said that Trump was warming up to us because, get this, he wore a Canada-US flag pin during his meeting with Carney and even before that. That's right. No trade breakthrough headline, no economic progress, but don't worry, everybody, because Trump's lapel pin, his accessory, apparently is the high point of diplomatic relations. What's even worse, they pulled the story off their website after the meeting produced nothing with Donald Trump and he hightailed it out of here. Why? Because it was clickbait nonsense. And when it turned out there was no deal, no real negotiation kickoff here, and no concrete policy shift whatsoever, they quietly memory hold the pin story like it never even happened. Surprise, surprise. And that's not journalism, that's just propaganda. That's a puff piece disguised as a scoop, and when the optics blew up, they tried to erase the evidence on you. But we all saw it, CTV. This is why trust in media is cratering in this country. CTV's job is to hold leaders accountable, not carry their water. But instead, they give us false hope. Then, when it all blows up in their face, they run for cover and bury the lead. Let's talk about international reactions that have been happening during this day as well, because Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni was very interesting today. She was caught on camera rolling her eyes during one of Macron's speeches. Now, that's not some Twitter meme moment. That's a literal diplomatic shrug. You think Meloni, who's leading a G7 country herself, rolled her eyes because she was inspired by the day? No, it was off the rails already. Of course not. She's seeing what we all see. She's seeing a man who speaks in poetic riddles and delivers zero substance, not leading a conversation. This summit was Carney's chance to prove he belongs on the world stage, and he's already blown it. And his calls for unity mean nothing without actual policy and action. His speeches about turning points are meaningless without any action. And his signature phrase of a plan to make a plan should be carved into a gravestone marking the death of Canadian leadership, because it seems like it's gone here. And here he is, letting anybody talk about anything and say or do anything. He's not a leader. Let me give you an example. Let me ask you this. How did Carney let Trump publicly talk about readmitting Russia into the G7 without pushing back? He sat there hunchback just watching him. Trump stood there and said kicking Russia out of the G8 was a mistake. He floated the idea that they should be brought back to the table. And Mark Carney, absolutely silent, said nothing and just stared lovingly at Donald Trump. No rebuke, no firm Canadian position, no clarity on where we stand as a nation that claims to uphold democracy and territorial sovereignty. Did Trudeau allow all of this passivity? No. Say what you want about Justin Trudeau, but he used to at least blurt out his mouth about how he felt and drew lines on Russia back when he was in office. Mark Carney let Donald Trump advocate for Russia's return to the G8, now the G7. And all he did was nod and move on. You don't let that go unanswered unless you've already lost the plot in the entire meeting. He's already lost control, and he's the president of the G7 right now. And just when you think that the media circus couldn't get even worse and more desperate here, CTV decided it was the perfect time today to run a smear piece, a brand new one, fresh, on Pierre Poilievre. The headline sounded like this: Leadership Review could come in January. As if it was some sort of bombshell. As if the party was secretly plotting to oust Pierre Poilievre. But let me explain something very simple to you, CTV, and I know you know this. It is standard procedure for any political party in Canada to hold a leadership review after an election. That's not scandal, it's simply bylaws. In fact, it's not even rare. It's rare not to hold one. Don't believe me? Well, the good news is we've got history. Stephen Harper faced a leadership review after 2004. Erin O'Toole faced one after the 2021 loss. Even Jagmeet Singh faced one after 2019 and remained the leader of the NDP. This is not a coup. This is constitutional. And the fact that CTV tried to frame it as a Pierre Poilievre witch hunt, that he's under threat, is laughable. Do you really think if the Conservatives wanted to oust Pierre Poilievre, they were going to wait until frickin' January? Please, if the knives were going to come out, he'd already be packing. This is another lazy narrative from mainstream media in Canada, obsessed with building suspense where none exists in the favor of the Liberals. It was another nothing burger, an empty file folder dressed up as breaking news. Can we all just put that away and be unbiased for once? But here's the kicker. You're paying for all of this. Not just the G7 summit, the media itself too. Canadian taxpayers have funded Carney's G7 vanity trip, the security, the lights, the hotels, the media handlers, the entourage, the travel, millions of dollars for a summit that delivered absolutely nothing for Canadians on day one, and likely now that Trump has left, won't deliver anything at all. Italy rolled her eyes, Russia got a shout out somehow, Poilievre got smeared, and CTV ran stories about lapel pins. Are we going to bring back the turkey that chased the king too, just for good measure? Is this what leadership looks like? Because to me, this looks like the beginning of a global embarrassment for Canada yet again. And if this is day one, I fear what the rest of the summit is going to bring here, everyone. So here's what we do know after one day of G7. And really, this is going to hurt a little because it kind of sucks. Carney can't lead a room. Trump doesn't take him seriously and left, and the media is running cover stories instead of asking real questions. And Canadians, well, we're footing the bill for all of this, for the speeches, and not for solutions. You all deserve better than this. We all deserve better than this. If you found this rant or if you are even half as frustrated as I am on the summit itself, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's keep calling this crap out together. Because honest to God, if we don't, after just day one of the G7 summit, no one will. And this stuff just isn't going to end. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things. I really appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Love to work with those comments with you and respond to those comments with you. Enjoyed doing that on my way out to the West Coast today. Thanks for watching. And again, we'll catch you tomorrow on what should be a very interesting day 2 of the G7 Summit. Thanks again.